Now, moving on to the next MSNBC article, we have Georgia's voting law remains rife with issues. Though Stacey Abrams' group lost its lawsuit, the court case still exposed major problems with the state's voting laws. So there, MSNBC, this article is actually questioning the election processes of Georgia. Now, it's okay for MSNBC to, ask some questions that all of us are having, but when we want to ask some questions, that's the bad thing. That doesn't make any sense. Digging right in, we have, with early voting already underway in Georgia's United States Senate runoff, this was actually published yesterday. With early voting already underway in Georgia's United States Senate runoff, it's worth revisiting a court case considering the state's election system. Fair Right Action, a nonprofit voting rights organization funded by former gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, paid prominent Georgia voting rights attorney Allegra Lawrence Hardy's law firm approximately $9.4 million to legitimate a blockbuster voting rights case. Far Right Action v. Richensburg over several years. Opponents of Abrams have objected to the size of this fee and made speculative allegations of conflict of interest because Abrams has already been a candidate, but a close examination of the fact and what this case accomplished demonstrates that the legal fee was more than justified. Although Fair Fight Action ultimately lost its case, the court found egregious inquiries that the Georgia legislature in Congress can now fix. The plaintiffs' lawyers exposed serious deficiencies in Georgia election law that have a desperate impact on voters of color. Georgia's exact match system, matching names on the voter rolls with convicted felons, has a 60% error rate. Georgians of color were 10 times more likely to have their voter registration flagged because of their applications did not exactly match databases. As of January 2020, approximately 70% of 60,000 Georgia votees were African American. Then why did the decision go against Fair Fight? United States District Court Judge Stephen Jones noted that he was bound by the United States Supreme Court 2021 decision, one which the Democratic National Committee, which limited the use to Section 2 of Voting Rights Act to determine whether a law was discriminatory. As Fair Fight had argued, but it did not take 288 pages to discuss a case. The judge saw serious problems with Georgia's voting system and took care to point them out. Jones finding the burdens that were both severe and unconstitutional in the landmark for voting rights in Georgia. The evidence uncovered by plaintiffs strengthens the case for the Georgia legislature to reverse future election laws, and for Congress to amend the Voting Rights Act or pass a new election laws. Other federal or Georgia cases may also reconsider the merits of the plaintiffs' arguments. Now, this is the thing. They're going to sit here and they're going to say all of the examples of the election interfering and whatever the heck with Donald Trump, and they're going to sit here and say that there was some voting things happening, but when the right says this, it's bad. It just does not make any sense. When the right says this, it's bad. When you guys say it's fine. In 2016, when you said that Donald Trump was colluding with Russia for the election, then that's a good thing. But when we're saying that Joe Biden is actively, talking to China, that's a bad thing. How is that a bad thing? It just does not make any sense. It's if the rules are for they, then they're for me. It's not the other way around. It's not rules for thee and not for me. Like, it should not be like that. It's the same exact rules that go around. Hey, were you really going to click off this video before leaving a like and subscribing down below? Wow, so rude.